So, what we are going to talk today, just want to check a question. Why should we pluck the weeds regularly? This is a question that I asked myself last week and then was figuring out why. Why should? And what's the reason for that? And then what's the benefits of doing it? And what is the real reason that we should be plucking the weeds from our own life? I have a little bit of a backyard and it is filled with different trees and plants and very beautiful bushes. And in the middle, I got a bit of like a lawn. I couldn't manage those ones. What I did, I took all the trees out and I took all different bushes in from the backyard and then put beautiful synthetic grass, which was easy for me to maintain. But at the same time, I have this four areas of the lawn with beautiful small trees. And I have a couple of veggie patches as well. I was so happy when I saw my new garden with the lawn in the middle and all the four areas having beautifully arranged trees. And I loved the veggie garden, and I used to put vegetables according to the season. But when life was going with busy schedule, I didn't get the time to look after and then go through the process of plucking the weeds. And you can imagine what happened. Yes. In 2 to 3 weeks' time, my good soil in the backyard gave that energy and all the effort to those weeds. They were so happy. Yes, they enjoyed and they grew up like anything. I couldn't see my tomatoes, my curry leaves, or my chili plants because the weeds were growing higher than that. I couldn't even do anything at that time because I was so busy with other activities and I was giving this action or the item to clean up or pluck my weeds as the last or least in my list. It was going crazy that way, but end of 2024, a couple of friends who came over mentioned that yes, you got a beautiful large garden, but it's crazy because the weeds are filling everywhere. And I suggested all different reasoning, and I mentioned, yeah, I'm so busy. I need to, clean up. I need to put some time during this holidays. Yep, I will be doing something this holidays. And I was putting that in my thoughts, and I thought, yes, this holiday time is cleanup time. One of those days, I tried to pluck some of these buffalo grasses. I couldn't even grab the roots because it was like spreading across all over the veggie patch. And it's hard for me to do anything in that garden. I was talking about this garden with my friends and I got some suggestions. It's better to call some gardener and then make it happen. And I did, as always, did all this online tasker and then all this thumbs up, thumbs down to find out a better gardener. It's all very expensive. At last, found out a gardener that my friend used to uh, bring them to their backyard, and they told me, yes, he is doing a good job. I called him, he quoted, and he said, yes, I'm gonna do this. In 2 hours, he came back to me, said, look, your garden is so crazy. We can't really do anything on with the machine because all different four areas of my garden filled with the big rocks and then trees. So he mentioned, I can't really do much. What I did, I sprayed the weed killer and it's so strong. After some days, it will go brown and then it will die. So call me after 2 months and I will clean up after and then I'll quote for that. I looked at my garden and I can see the lawn area is untouched. He didn't do anything. He just sprayed all these around those four areas around the lawn, but not inside. And I asked him what happened. And he mentioned, you asked me to do for the garden. You didn't mention for lawn. Lawn and gardens are different codes, apparently. But anyway, he didn't do it. I decided in my heart, okay, fine, let's see what's happening. And I'm not sure whether I'm going to call you again because that's not what I was expected as the outcome from that job. Anyway, what I did, I bought something similar weed killer and sprayed on my lawn as well. And I was waiting to get those weeds to go away. The weeds became brown and we need to take it off or pluck it off again to clean those areas. But anyway, I have done a bit of like a good job to make it at least ready for my next vegetable patch job. Yeah. And my trees were trimmed and pruned and waiting for my fruits to come. But then I was looking at all the cleaned area of my garden, all the new weeds are coming up. I tried to put again this weed killer, but again, yes, it's a season like this. Weeds are coming and growing at its top speed. I was telling to my boys, can you guys clean up? And then I'll pay half of the money that I paid to the gardener. And they were not really keen on this gardening. And my eldest told me, Mum, you should be cleaning in batch by batch in a regular basis. You need to take the weeds in a regular basis when they were really tiny. Don't wait for them to grow to their, to the fast mode. It's better you pluck them when they are tiny babies. I like that idea, but always the villain is time. We do not have that much time to sit every day or in a regular fashion every week to pluck the weeds. But anyway, what I used to do, I'll come out of my house and see which one is biggest or the easy one to pluck it. And I used to pluck it, but not in a consistent way. Recently, I was looking at my backyard and I know that I need to spend a real good money this time again because the weeds are growing again higher than the plants, and it's hard for me to manage that way. What I did, I restarted or repaired our whipper stripper and started to do by myself. When I started doing by myself, my boys joined and they helped me, and then we at least cleaned our veggie patch area. But the lawn area, it was interesting to see that there is a specific type of weed growing in a specific arrangement. Like, they do have their own way of allocating themselves into a specific distance. I was wondering what is the reason of that type of weeds growing in that specific way. And it's so good to see the way that they're growing. But what I thought, yes, it's good idea to pluck it when they are babies. So I started to pluck it, not everyone, in a go from one corner to the other corner in a daily basis. And when we are watering the garden, it was easy for plucking. And you all know after a rain, it's good to pluck those weeds because it will be very easy to take the roots from that muddy, wet muds, and the roots are a bit more easier to come out. So, what I did these weeks is try to do not too much, very little time, which is not impacting my back and shoulders, not impacting other routine, maybe 10-15 minutes each per day, plucking those tiny baby weeds and telling them, I'm sorry, this is not your place to grow. This is for yes, my lawn. And I was plucking them. So while I was plucking them, I was thinking, those weeds growing in those lawns are like the bad habits, or I would say the sins or the bad emotions that we have in our own life. We may not really listen to our life or our emotion, our heart, whether we are allowing the bad emotions and bad thoughts to grow. We do not know how they are entering if the lawn is widely open. And if we do not know how those seeds are coming into that lawn, yeah, we can see that little, I would say, very cute, gentle weed, small weeds growing. It looks so cute if they are in that the early weeks. And sometimes we think that that's not a weed at all. That is a real plant or a real bush coming up by itself because it looks something similar to other good plants. And it will be hard for us to take that off. That's what exactly happening within our heart. If we are not going inside our heart and looking at the emotions and the thoughts and actions that we are doing, whether it's taking us into a good side or the bad side of our life pattern, if it is not giving you the good fruits, they are weeds and they need to be plucked in a regular interval. If not, the weeds will take over all the plants, all the fruit trees, and then you can't really even see any of the fruits because the roots of the weeds will be struggling like, uh, cre- going around your heart and covering your whole life, then we can't even see a good fruit out of it. That's what I realized. You need to do this in a regular basis. Yes, pluck the weeds that can be the weed through your eyes, what you're seeing, or through your thoughts, what you are thinking, or through your talks, what you are talking, or through your ears, what you are hearing. If you think that in a regular basis you are doing something not right, pluck it off, switch it off, close your eyes. And we all know why the eyes, when God created these eyes, why God gave us these eyelids, or why so easy for us to close the eyes. Yes, we have to close our eyes, whatever the things are not giving the good fruits. Same with your talking. If you think that that's not good for us and for other people, don't do it. Be silent. So, on this day, 14th February, the Valentine's Day, everybody is looking forward to get something out of your Valentine or giving something to your Valentine. What do you think about yourself? What are you going to give to you if you're loving yourself? Starting from you is what the real start. So, if you really love yourself, try to connect with your eyes and your tongue. What are you going to talk? And what are you going to see and going to hear? Take a break, take a pause, and pluck the weeds. This is Bismi Palati on Dominus Nisi 88.9 FM.